Welcome back to West Texas View.
We're talking about the Midland Rockhounds. This is an interesting program that you just can't miss. And you have met before the break Monty Smith and Monty Hoppel and Brian Smith, who are in the management of the Midland Rockhounds. Monty Hoffel is the general manager and Brian Smith is the director of public relations. And before the break, we were talking with Monty about the history of this club and how fortunate we are to have this professional affiliation here in Midland. And you were talking about the ownership before we had the break, and what a great staff you have, but talk a little bit more about the ownership.
Yeah, back in 1989, 1990, the team was up for sale, and ideally you'd like to try to find some local owners, but there's no one that I guess had the money or had the interest at that time. So.
And at that time it was Angels.
That's correct.
Okay.
It was the Angels, and we talk a little bit more about why we switched here. But so Bob Richmond and Miles Prentice, who one gentleman's from New York and one was from Arizona at the time, and they were passionate about. Bob Richmond had been here many times, and just because he'd been in minor league baseball so long, and he said, "Hey, this is a great franchise to buy. It's kind of a little secret down there in Midland, Texas," and like I said, most people aren't too familiar with what was going on. So the two of them purchased the club, and their intention was to keep it here and really make it work forever. And it's just amazing how they guide us. The first thing they wanted to do is say, let's do a sports banquet in the off season for charity. And I hear things from the owners every day. Let's be careful how much we raise the ticket prices. Let's make sure we're doing things out in the community, which Brian's done a great job, and people before him have done a great job. And let's go in the schools. So this is the first thing I heard. It's not like, well, we got to cut expenses and we got to make sure we make a bunch of money. They said, let's be entrenched in the community, and that's why we've done so well. We've got the backbone of two great guys that say, hey, they're in it for the right reasons.
But they're in it for the right reasons. They're in it not just for the money, the investment. They're in it because they're passionate about baseball.
Yeah, they are. And in minor league baseball, it's settled down a little bit, but there used to be, let's buy them, let's move them into a brand new stadium and you get a better deal in a different city, or let's sell it.
Line my pockets.
That's right.
And I'll sell it.
Or let's let's sell it and let's make a little bit on the equity, and then let's buy another one and trade them and that sort of thing. But that's not what they want to do. They bought it to to say, hey, let's do something for the community. Let's show them how important baseball is, and let's show how important a night at the ballpark is, and a kid running out onto the field with the Rockhounds for the national anthem and get a signed autograph. Those are the things that are so important. So we're lucky to have them.
And touch the little kids' hearts.
Yeah, you're right, exactly. And it happens every day. That's why Brian and I are in the business, just because the best thing we like to do is stand out front when the gates open and say hi to people and see grandmother and grandson come to the park, or the whole family. There's not a whole lot of things where families spend quality time together anymore. Let's get the kids.
For hours.
That's right. The kids are home on the internet, or they're home playing video games, or parents are watching reality TV. We think we got one of the best things going, next to maybe going to Sunday church, to come out and enjoy time as a family.
Well, does your owners ever come out and stand at the gates with you?
They do. As a matter of fact, when Miles first bought the team, Fernando Valenzuela was there on a rehab assignment, one of the famous pitchers of all time.
I remember.
Miles says he wanted to vend souvenirs, so he put the souvenirs on and he went out there and started saying souvenirs, souvenirs, and walked up and down the stands. And then you know how those plastic cups that a lot of people take home that have the logo on them? And Miles was saying, hey, there's a few people that left these cups here, and he's in picking up trash and said, these are great cups, I'm taking them home. And he had like 25 of them. He had like a sleeve of 25.
He's a man after my own heart.
Yeah, he's something, and he's very friendly, and that's why it's working in Midland, Texas, because Miles comes in, he didn't make a bunch of demands. He sat down with city council and some of our leaders and said, hey, this is your team. We need to build a ballpark.
Around your culture.
Right, around your culture, and this is your ballpark. It's the city's ballpark. And if we do that, it'll mean a big thing for the community.
Oh, that's so interesting, because, you know, most people haven't heard of any place in Texas but Dallas and Houston and San Antonio, and so I can understand why we think Midland, Odessa is a big stuff out here, but most of the people haven't heard of it. And so.
Well, they've heard of us now. Brian can talk a little bit here about some of the awards and some of the national awards, and so Midland has always been on the map, but now people are seeing some of the awards and some of the things happening, some of the all-star games we host. We had Nolan Ryan and Roger Clemens out here back-to-back days for an all-star game in 2010. Two of the most famous pitchers of all time are up here in Midland, Texas. And even some of the sports banquets we've had, I mean, Whitey Herzog and all these sort of people that have came into town and that normally wouldn't go to communities this size.
But the interesting thing, I grew up in Abilene with the Blue Sox Stadium, which has been torn down, but it had a and we used to watch, my daddy and I went to all of the games, and we would watch these players play there. You know, we'd stick our dollars through the little wire when they made home runs and stuff like that, and then go up to the big leagues. And, you know, we saw these, we touched these people, and now they're up in the big time.
Yeah, that's
so
what it's all about.
That impressed me so much as a little girl. But talk a little bit, Brian, about some of the teams that we play, and how do we choose who we get to play?
Well, we've been, since the Midland franchise became affiliated in 1972, we've been with the Texas League, and it is one of the 2 oldest professional baseball leagues in the United States.
Wow.
They've played baseball in the Texas League every year since 1896, except for 1917 and 1942, because of World Wars, you know, 1 and 2 respectively. And we have 8 teams in the league right now. The Texas League South has us, the Frisco Rough Riders in Dallas, who are with the Texas Rangers, the Corpus Christi Hooks, who are with the Houston Astros, and the San Antonio Missions, who are with the San Diego Padres. And we are in the South Division. In the North Division, our other 4 teams are, ironically, all out of Texas, but we have the Northwest Arkansas Naturals, who are affiliated with Kansas City Royals, the the Arkansas Travelers, who are with the Los Angeles Angels, and then the Springfield Cardinals, who are with St. Louis, World Series champs, and the Tulsa Drillers, who are with the Colorado Rockies. And so we rotate through there. We get a lot of good bus rides, 14, 15 hours getting to go to Missouri and Tulsa. But one of the cool things is that we are the 3rd oldest franchise in the league. The only 2 teams that have been around in the same market longer than us are San Antonio, who started in '66, and Arkansas, who started in 1968. Every other club has moved from their original community and basically set up a whole new shop since 2004. Because we used to play the Diablos, Wichita, Jackson, Mississippi, Shreveport, all of those teams, but now they're all current versions of our new cities.
Oh, I want to talk more about the Texas League, but we're going to have to take a break. We'll be back in just a minute and continue this conversation.
Stay tuned. West Texas View will be right back.